Chapter 27. Christina, go and have a coffee. No thanks, she said, not moving an inch from her chair. You could sit in the reception area, I suggested. I won't buzz till the painting's finish, she said. You were in my gallery. I was working on the sixth painting in my PALPASA series, but I was having trouble with it. I just couldn't find the right color. The brush strokes didn't seem to suit the shades I had given them. I wanted to put hope into the figure of PALPASA. At first, I had painted her in vermilion, but it looked like blood. I couldn't even distinguish between vermilion and blood. This canvas was taking all my energy, and I was getting annoyed with Christina. I wanted to walk freely, without hindrance, but she kept interrupting everything I did. That's a perfect combination of light and shadow, she said, like an expert. I feel like I'm in the hills. Could you do me a favor? I asked at last. Sure, please go out for a while. I promise I won't disturb you, she said. Just pretend I am not here. Look, my dear lady, I said in exasperation. I need to forget even my own existence when I paint. I can't have someone hanging around, please. All right, my dear artist, she said, getting up. I don't want to be a nuisance. I didn't notice her leave, but I was finally alone. I was trying to capture the moment I had touched Pulpus for the last time, when I had touched her in passing as I got off the bus. That had been our last moment together. This series was my biggest challenge. If I could do it successfully, I portray a page in both the history of my country and the story of my own life. The day before, Christina had asked me the language of colors universal, but there seems to be a distinctly Nepali touch to the way you use color. How's that possible? The unique Nepali use of color was developed by our artists centuries ago, I told her. I am just borrowing it. Artists don't have empty space on canvas just to save paint. All spaces are determined by the math and science of the paintbrush. Empty spaces in a painting can make it more mysterious and even tell their own story. The impact of my paintings depends on the relationship between the colors I choose and the space I live. Every artist creates his own style, and that style a statement. Through my paintings, I was trying to convey my views on contemporary Nepal. Christina understood the political message in the work I was creating. That was why she asked so many questions. These paintings were a reflection of my journey and my suffering. I couldn't be objective. The language of time was brutal and could easily defeat me. I was one lone man battling overpowering forces on the small stage of his gallery with only a paintbrush in his hand. My paintings had energy. They had a kind of power, but at times I felt helpless, like a warrior whose only weapon was color. Violence is a demanding subject for any artist. An artist needs courage to paint violence. An artist must be fearless. While trying to create a painting of the girl whose Mitini had been killed, I hadn't been able to sleep for 2 nights. A little girl and her best friend, such a delicate relationship. Their innocence suggested soft shapes and gentle colors, but the event that ended their friendship forced me to use sharp edges and harsh colored. I mixed my tears into that painting. They mingled with the colors. Tears exist for only a few seconds. What was wrong with an artist using them as witness to his feeling? Some canvases in this series looked like I had made collages, incorporating press photographs into my paintings. But that wasn't the case. The distance between two was too great. Press photographs capture an immediate event. A painting shows the same event but with more depth and with the perspective only the passage of time brings. Still, despite my suffering, hope was the ultimate message of Palpasa series. Had my brush done justice to that? In places, vermilion looked like blood and blood like vermilion. Yet, in reality, the two represented complete opposites. Parmelian stood for hope, while blood stood for failure and despair. The message of my paintings was that I wanted Parmelian. The warmongers wanted to see a blood soaked canvas stretched across the country. They wanted the piles of weapons to grow higher, seeing in them their ultimate victory. I was trying to give their cowardice a color. The thing that makes me love these works is the way you have managed to show courage on innocent faces, Christina had said. That's why they are being sacrificed, I had said. I'm trying to show how cowards continue to live while the innocent are sacrificed, she said. Defining one action as courage and another as cowardice is tantamount to making a political statement. You have done that. Your own courage comes from making a clear statement about which side you are on. That's so important, especially today. The stand I had taken was that of people who resisted the warmongers on both sides. I belong to this third force. People who felt as I did could be targeted by either side because we opposed both. I had protested against both warring sides in this painting, my colors showing my support for the third camp. This was my strength, but could I be safe in choosing this path? Excuse me, the annoying Christina appeared from nowhere. I continued walking, paying no attention to her. I was trying to paint a tika on Palpasa's forehead, but it looked crooked. I could change a line in my painting by covering it with color, but sometimes that made me paint too dense. You are pretending you didn't hear me, Christina said. You are right. I'm leaving. I'm not stopping you. Are you going to give me that painting or not? Which one? You are pretending you don't understand again. I don't understand. Which painting are you talking about? That one. She pointed, but I didn't bother to turn around. I already knew which painting she wanted. It was the one called Palpasa Cafe. Cafe gallery resort with internet facilities. I had decided that each room in the resort would be a gallery in itself. I would hang my art in these galleries. I wanted my guests to feel they were living in a gallery, but it was difficult to say whether the painting Palpasa Cafe showed me more as a painter or as a designer. I was going to build two types of rooms, studio and the suites. Those who preferred luxury could stay in the suites, but in both types, my guests would be close to nature. The instant they opened the curtains and looked out the window, they would see the flowers and trees and feel the season come into their rooms. My resort would have lots of empty space. Empty space is as essential for a good room as it is for a good painting. The walls would be hung with paintings. That was how I wanted my resort to be. Whitewashed walls, the natural perfume of flowers, the warm rays of the sun, and the breeze coming in through the windows. When your resort's finished, I'll be your first guest, Christina said. I said, you'll have to trek for days to reach my resort. You think I couldn't do that? She said in a challenging tone. I turned to her. Playfully, I struck her cheek with my paintbrush, smearing her with red paint. For a while, it looked as if she had decided to be friends again. But no, she was still angry. Sometimes Christina could be a demure as a Nepali woman. If she stayed long enough in Nepal, no one would guess she was a foreigner. She had long dark hair. The only problem was that she was too tall and that she had blue eyes still. People could easily mistake her for a Nepali. This was the first painting I ever saw created in front of my eyes, she said. That's why I am not living without it. I didn't want to give it to her. I saw the gallery short I want to build in memory of Palpasa. I represented my future. There would be a courtyard walled with red brick and floored in grey slate. It would all be dedicated to Palpasa. I knew how difficult it would be to make Christina understand how special that painting was to me, but I had to make her understand that painting wasn't for sale. I'm going to disturb you for a while, she said. She took out her mobile phone and took my picture with it. I felt the flash on my face. I felt the flash on my face. Many visitors had taken pictures of many paintings while pretending they were talking on their phones. What was this? A photo studio? Did you have some coffee? I asked. Don't change the subject, she said. You still haven't agreed to give me that painting. When are you going back? I asked. Where? To the hotel? No, to Amsterdam. At this, her anger turned to fury. I wanted to make her go away, but not too far. I wanted her to stay in Kathmandu for a while. She stormed out of the gallery without even wiping the red paint from her cheek. I wondered where she had gone. I didn't think she would leave the country. I knew she had planned to go back to the Netherlands several times but kept changing her ticket. I didn't believe she had even filled any stories. She was happy just to spend time with me. That's why she got paranoid over small things. She had lied to me when she said she had come to report on the war. She had come here to write a long story about modern Eastern art. Otherwise, why should she have tried so hard to get close to me? As for me, I was obsessed with the PALPASA series. When it was finished, I'd finally be free. Only then would I be able to look at Christina with clear eyes since I'd come back from the hills. I hadn't spent one day without painting. Every moment was devoted to images. Even when I didn't have a brush in my hand, lines and colors danced in my mind. I needed to keep walking on the series to remind myself I was alive. Losing Palpas had left me in great distress, but I had grown used to the agony. I breathed in pain and breathed out painting. It was close to dawn now, but I was in no hurry to end the night. I had recaptured somewhat from my journey. The ironies of life had become normal. Its absurdities no longer surprised me. Every day brought many experiences into the lives of human beings, but none of us had the interest or the insight to understand them. Christina had grown fond of me. I knew. I worried she might be too fond of me already. I feared I might be influenced by her feelings. But if she wanted me, why? What could I offer her while I lived under Palpasa's shadow? Hours later, Christina still hadn't come back. Where was she? Had she really left for the Netherlands? Or was she waiting for me somewhere, in a restaurant or at her hotel? Maybe she was waiting for me at my house. It was good. She had left me in peace for even if it was for just 3 hours. But then I wondered if it was possible that she had really left the country. The night before, she had asked me a lot of questions. Why did you kiss me? She had asked. Her question wiped the sweet taste from my lips. I asked, why did you close your eyes? That's not an answer to my question. I got confused. You are a liar. No, I said, defending myself. You touched my nose with your fingertips and I couldn't resist. Do you love me? She asked. You are a very dear friend, I said, taking my fingers from the nape of her neck, and always will be. Then, why did you kiss me? Was it a mistake? You kiss me and then say, I am your friend, she said, obviously upset. I'm sorry, I can't forgive such a mixed up person. So you didn't kiss me out of love. Maybe that's true. You don't know the real meaning of kiss, she said. You only want a physical relationship with me. I said nothing. She was close to tears. I felt bad. What do you want? I finally asked. I want you to be honest with me. You are flittering with me while thinking about Palpasa, and I don't like it. Are you jealous of Palpasa? I asked. I am not jealous of the poor dead girl, she said, but I am jealous of your memories of her and the time you spent thinking about her. What can I do about that? I said. Can you tell me when you will be free of that jealousy? I can't, looking tearful. She pulled back her hair and tied it behind her head. Well, could you leave your boyfriend? I asked. He doesn't have a problem with my friendship with you. He isn't worried, even though he knows we have slept in the same room. He knows I have spent nights in the houses of my male friends in Amsterdam, she said. We are open with each other. That's the difference between Nepalese and Westerners. He trusts me. What would your boyfriend think about me if he found out I have kissed you? He wouldn't think about you. He would only think about me. Will you tell him I kissed you? That's why we trust each other, she said. He knows I don't hide anything from him. Surprised, I sat back under the dim light of the red bulb. I saw her face. She was very pretty. She had untied her hair again, and her face was partially hidden by the fold of her hair. You just think of me as a typical Western woman, she said, aren't you? And you believe all Western women are easy, that will sleep with anyone. I never thought of you like that, I said. You love art. I didn't think of you as Western or Eastern. I spent the night here just to see how you paint, she said. I simply came to observe, but you took advantages of me. Sorry, I said. No, don't be sorry, she said. If you want, I could be your girlfriend. Wouldn't that be betraying your boyfriend? I asked in surprise. It wouldn't be betrayal, she said. I would explain to him how I came to love you and we would break up on friendly terms. So are you starting to love me? I asked. I had started to love you, she said. Had, but I can forget that now. It seems you have got a problem with love too, I said. It seems you see love as a game you can switch on and off. I don't want to waste my time with a person like you who has double standards. So, what do I need to do? I asked. You have to be clear in yourself, she said. I know how much you miss Palpasa. Of course, you can't rid yourself of your memories of her. But don't use me as a substitute, as a way of trying to push her out of your mind. And then what should I do? Well, don't think that just because I am a Westerner, I would be satisfied with only a physical relationship. I don't think that, I said. How can I trust you? What can I do to prove you can trust me? Tell me honestly, she said. Do you love me? I couldn't answer. I looked at her. She looked back at me. Do you even know what love means? She asked. I still couldn't say a word. I don't think you love Palpasa either. How can you say that? I cried. It seems pretty clear, she said. You were obsessed with her beauty and flattered by the way she looked up to you. She admired your work and she admired your work and you felt affection for her. But isn't affection a way of showing love? I asked. If it were real love, you'd never have left her like that in Goa without giving her your address. You met her in Kathmandu just by accident. If you had loved her, you wouldn't have left her the hills without telling her you were going, and even though you did go, you would have found a way of communicating with her. That's just how I am, I said. That's why I'm saying you can't love anyone, she said. You love solitude. You are happy to spend your life looking at the world alone. You don't need company. Does loving solitude means I can't love another person? It does. The day you start loving someone is the day you don't want to be alone anymore. But I have always been this way, and you will never change. Maybe you are right, but I still like you. Do you? And Purpose liked you too. Yes, she did. To like you is one thing, but to get love from you is something else together, she said. I fell silent again. You like colors. You love colors, in fact. You could spend your whole life having a love affair with colors. You are a true artist. Yes. And I love your work. Thank you. After that, I went back to my work. She kept watching me as I moved my brush. I busied myself on the canvas away from her gaze. I was trying to find Palpasa's face in my painting. This doesn't mean I respect you and less. she said. I said, I believe you. We'll remain good friends, close friends. We will. And who knows, she choked. What? Maybe I am falling in love with you. Then why don't you kiss me? I asked. Then why don't you close your eyes? She said, playfully punching my chest.